This meeting is being recorded.
There we go. Okay, so we all know that these are put behind the members wall on the web page. So if you ever want to find any of these talks, they should be there. And so the topic for today is RootsTech. Now, how many people were able to attend RootsTech?
Did one.
Okay, Sharon, what'd you think of RootsTech?
That's the only one. I thought it was fabulous.
So
I particularly like the innovators, to see all the things that are coming. It's just mind blowing to see what they've developed. And of course, I was interested in one thing was the QR tile.
okay.
Because my son passed in 2013, but he was buried at sea. So I'd like to create some kind of a memorial that's a little more solid than latitude and longitude. So anyway, I had heard about this quite a long time ago, but I didn't know who made it.
Yeah.
And they had the company that made it online that showed you exactly how to use it, and it looks so easy.
Yeah, there were I don't know, about a dozen in the innovators sessions.
There were.
And I did not get a good chance to watch a lot of their stuff. I watched their introduction stuff, videos, and a couple small videos that were on their groups.
Right.
And they weren't necessarily what I tend to use. You know, I mean, they're really good for data storage and, you know, telling stories and social interactions with your family history genealogy thing. And so, you know, if you're into that, you know, where are you going to store all of your oral histories? How are you going to store all of your photographs so that all of your relatives can access that and you know, see all that stuff after you're gone? They had some really great, you know, ideas for doing that. So, was anybody else able to attend RootsTech? Helen?
I listened Saturday.
Okay.
I had company Thursday and Friday, but Saturday, and I kind of listened a lot to the census, the 1950 census, only because I was born in 1950, and I don't think I'll be on the census because I was born in November, a little late. But at least I'll see my sisters and you know, parents. And at the time, I think maybe my grandfather and uncle still lived with my mother and father. So, and then Catherine Schober, I listened to a couple of her presentations.
Okay.
I do have. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm done.
I was listening to tuning into the live relatives that attended. And they had, I had 9,000 live relatives. But when you looked at them, they were mostly fifth and sixth cousins.
Yep.
So are they not? I mean, if they're all live, why wasn't there any that were closer than fifth or sixth?
Well, how many of your first cousins attended RootsTech?
One.
That's why. Yeah, I had a grand total of 132 relatives at RootsTech.
Wow,
that's a really good number for me.
Were they closer? Were they closer in Santa Monica?
I had a couple third and fourths. My uncle was there, but mostly third and fourths. Now you got to realize I'm related to nobody. So,
really?
Oh yeah, I never find relationships. You know, and my wife had over 25,000 at RootsTech on her list.
Whoa.
Well, the surprise was I had 93 in Kansas, and most of my relatives are from Ohio. So that was, I mean, I did have one set of great grandparents that he was a senator in Kansas, but 93 in one spot, that was a lot.
I had 6 from Brazil, 1 from Australia, and then mostly from Ohio and Midwest.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today is the fact that RootsTech is still available. You didn't have to attend all of it in those 3 days when
Before
RootsTech
you
was held Thursday, Friday, and
Exactly.
Saturday last week. You can still access the 2001 RootsTech. So you can go back and see talks that were given last year as well as this year. And many of the live presentations are now recorded and available for you to see online. So, even if you weren't able to visit RootsTech with the millions of people who visited on the 3 days that it was live, you still have all of this year, to watch these videos, and probably even longer. They're thinking about keeping the videos online for 3 years,
Wow.
unless they're no longer relevant. So there might be some things that are no longer relevant, like the 1950 census. We're going to release it in April. Okay, great. But 2 years from now, it really doesn't matter when they're going to release it in April. So there might be some things that get removed over the next year or 2 years, or even the third year, just because of relevancy. But what that means is that you now have access to 1,500 recorded talks on any basically any topic you can think of in family history. And where else are you going to get that kind of a library for free? Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to walk through the RootsTech webpage for those of you who haven't been on it, so you can learn a little bit about more about what's there.
Good.
And I'll show you some of the things that are available. And we'll focus in on, the German talks, which there were over 50 talks on German research that are available. And there were vendors doing German research. And so they have things on their website, or on their pages, such as, handwriting, reading handwriting, types of records and things of that sort. So I am going to share my screen here so that everybody can see it. Okay. Are you all able to see the RootsTech page?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you just go in and type rootstech.org, it'll send you to Family Search. If you log into Family Search, you sign in. If you just go to rootstech.org, you don't necessarily have to sign in. You can see that I'm signed in up here in the top corner, so that I can track things like the chat. And if I click on the chat, I can see all of the chats that I had while I was in the expo hall. So this is when I was working. These are the people that stopped by the expo hall and asked questions. And I can see what my groups were. And with my groups, you can see there's adding maps to your family history research. This was my talk from last year, but you can see I had 4 people come in and talk about it. Bringing your community projects to life. This was the live panel that I was on, and there were 40 people who chatted on that one. This is my Discovering Dutch Archives, Discovering French Archives, and German Archives. You see the Dutch were only 4, the French were 3, the Germans were 11. That doesn't mean that's how many people saw it. That's just how many people made comments about it while they were watching it. And you can see the Innovators Portal, 257 people were in that chat, and so on. Of course, here at the beginning, they have all their videos and stuff, so you can scroll down. They have those quick links out to RootsTech and connect with people around the world. You can look at your relatives at RootsTech. However, this should say 0. Let's see. Oh, 159. So I ended up with 159 relatives at RootsTech. And I can view them. I can see where they're located in the United States and the rest of the world. You can see 13 in Brazil now, and 1 in Australia, and then the rest are in the US. 1 in Ireland, none in Germany. But you can see here's my 3rd cousin. And I can go in and I can look at the relationship. And now I can see that they're related on my Meyer side. This is our common ancestor back here. And then this is her line, and this is my line. And I can also contact them, or I can add them to my contacts list, or I can message them and send them a message. So I think this one here, I may have messaged. Let's see. Oops. So this is the one in Australia. And let's see how they're related. They're related on my Westerheide line. So when they only show you the top 300 relationships that you have, notice since I only have 159, I can see all my relatives. But if you have 25,000, you can only see your top 300. So a lot of ninth cousins way back here. So like I said, my top ones are third cousins, and then there's my uncle right there. So we're going to go back out to RootsTech.
Can you still do that?
I don't think you can still add any. I think that the people who you can try, you'll have to have a tree on family search in order for it to work. But you can try to see if it'll work. They will be taking this down. You can see, well, yeah, it ends March 25th. So you have a couple more weeks to try it and see who at RootsTech was related to you. And you can message them and, talk with them and see if they have any research or anything like that that you might find interesting. And then they give you the information about, for Meyer, there's 140 people that had Meyer that were registered for RootsTech, 46 from the US, 6 from Utah, 4 from Texas. I could put in another last name. Almost 400,000 of the million plus people who attended participated in this activity. And then you can see where they were all from, the ones that participated.
Did you get my washer fluid?
So we'll mute Lockwood there. So you can see, that Europe had a large number of people attending. The United States had a large number, Central America, South America, and so on. The interesting thing was RootsTech was actually broadcast on TV channels in the Philippines and in Africa. There were about a dozen TV channels that broadcast portions of RootsTech to those countries. So we'll go back out to the RootsTech page. And then you can see if you were related to some of the keynote speakers, and you can do surname searches and see if anybody attended RootsTech that had a surname that you're interested in. And then you see the information on the classes and workshops that were available. You can, hit see more, and you can still keep pulling more and more of these down. And then there's the expo hall information, the different companies that had booths there. These are the major supporters: Family Search, Ancestry, MyHeritage, Family Tree DNA. And then there's some featured content here. Of course, there's an innovators portal. This is where the new technologies and new developments were being released. They had an archives and records custodians conference going on also. And so you can go in and see the talks that were presented by the archivists. So you can see there's an English version, there was a French version. And then there were panel discussions. There's a Spanish version, Portuguese version. And then on-demand sessions that they had about archives. And I always like to sit in and listen to some of the archives things because they're talking about digitization processes and how they're, gathering the information and organizing it and making it available. And then you see some other content down here about records custodians and so on. So I'm going to jump back. Let's see, there is another, okay. And here's the getting started session. So, where do I start? Connecting with living family, telling your stories, finding ancestors. And this continues down a little bit more, beginning research in your homelands. So, if you're just interested in the beginning stuff, there are a couple sessions here that are easy for you to get to. I am looking for one of the featured contents and I don't see it. Well, we'll have to find it on another link. So the main stage area, this is where they had all the keynote speakers. You can see they did a music video for RootsTech. These are the keynote speakers. You see here, this is Molly Ye, and you may have heard of Molly Ye. She's on Food Network, and she's currently doing the Spring Baking Championship. She's hosting that. Azuma Nelson is a world champion boxer from Africa, and then different, so the celebrities that they brought in are from all over the world. Apollonia Poulain's from France. Matthew Modine, he's a American actor. Diego Torres from Brazil, and so on. And then you can see the interviews that they had with each of the keynote speakers. And that continues on down. They had a whole session on dance and culture for different. So, they have a Polish dance performance and Native American and Indian and Mexican and so on. So if you're interested in the cultures of different ethnicities, and then the foods. So Thailand, Peru, Haiti, talking about, how food plays a part in their culture. And then the RootsTech Live wrap up. This was out of Dubai. And it was at the World Nations Festival, I believe is where it was. And RootsTech actually had a booth there at that festival. And then you see the different sponsors, things like the 1950 census, Ancestry, MyHeritage, Family Tree DNA, and various different presentations for the different sponsors that were there. So let's get into the real stuff. I'm going to go into the expo hall first. The expo hall is where all of the companies were. So each of the companies that sponsored RootsTech had a booth. You see the platinum sponsors. So, if I want to go in and see what Ancestry had, I can go to their virtual booth. I can watch their video here, which is an introduction. This is all of the new things that are happening at RootsTech or at Ancestry. So they're going to talk about their new DNA networks, their new, the formats that they have, the new records that they're introducing. And Krista Cowan does that presentation. Ancestry for All. This is a discussion about how they're reaching out to different communities to do their, record their ancestry information. And then these are some live broadcasts that were done each day during RootsTech. And then a whole series of stories, RootsTech 101, RootsTech 102, and so you can learn more about the RootsTech, or Ancestry, as I should say, information. And so you see there's quite a few different videos associated with them. If I go back, I'll go down a little further. You can see here's the family history guide. This was the booth that I worked with. I'm the education director for this organization. And you can see we have our video here. And then, youth activities, family activities, online tracker, overview to the family history guide, and then a bunch of series talks that we have. You see Netherlands, England, Canada, Civil War, Spanish, historical maps, German. You probably have seen this one. This is excerpts from one of my talks. They took several of my talks, put them together into one presentation. And then we have these downloads you can download for information also. And we'll go back out there. We'll go down a little bit further. You can see we have DNA Painter had a booth there, Genie, Legacy Family Tree webinars, Photomine, Vivid Pics, the genealogist, a lot of different organizations in here. You see Mayflower, Pennsylvania, Jewish American, I think is what it is. Let's see, Association of Jewish Genealogical Societies, NGS. And then down here, there is the Brandenburg Genealogy Project. Let's see, I'm looking for the other German one here. There's French, Germanology Unlocked. So this is another German one here. And if we go to this one, so they have courses on German for genealogists, reading old German handwriting, German church records, deciphering handwriting. And you can see they have some previews and discounts that they gave out during RootsTech. I don't know if any of these discounts are any good, but there's a $70 off of German genealogy online class. And, so each of these are about 20-minute videos that you might find some help for in there. Church record books, there are handouts for different German sets of records. So that one might be something that you'd be interested in. And go on down a little further. And you've probably heard of some of these organizations in the past. There's another Oldenburg genealogist group. Let's see. So when they have this live, then this, you're going to interact with these people. In RootsTech, virtually, you were able to chat with them. Here we go. Let's Do Good Together. So they have a DNA Learning Center, and this Let's Do Good Together was a group about setting up community genealogy projects. So, gathering stories, the 1950 effort, creating a successful online community, putting things in their place, indexing for everyone. Let's see, I'm trying to find where my thing is. Let's see, tree building, general projects. There we go. This is the one that I was in. And let's see if it's live or.
We have a great presentation.
There we go. Okay, so this is an hour talking about different projects that are going along around the country. So if you're interested in learning about, different types of projects that are out there, working in communities, this was very useful for genealogy societies and things like that if they're interested in building community projects. So you can see Tanea Kuntz, she does Tennessee newspapers. Alicia Chang and Mary Anderson are doing a community reconstitution projects. And there's myself and Joe Price from BYU Linking Labs and so on. So the last thing I want to get into are the sessions. And this is where they have 1,500 sessions, 185 topics in 30 languages. These are all of the, the 20-minute free classes that are available. And you can see they're divided up. There are getting started sessions, and you can pick different topics within that. There are research locations. So if I want to see a country, I can go down to Germany. And I click on Germany. Whoops, I'm clicking on too many now. Hold on a second. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. There we go. So Germany, I've got 53 results. Now, the first one is Archeon. And we've talked about Archeon before. Archeon are the Protestant church records. Then the next one is emigration from Hamburg and Bremen in the 19th and 20th century. So if your family left from Bremen or Hamburg, this would be a good talk for you to listen to about where the records are and how to do the research on your immigrant ancestors from Hamburg and Bremen. Of course, this one here is in German. It's the Association of German-Speaking Professional Genealogists. And I think you can do an English translation of it as you're listening to it. And it's a series of talks. A couple more German ones. Here's emigration through German ports. So this is talking about the 12 million people who emigrated from Germany. And it's a series. So there's part 1 and part 2. Finding your German ancestors. Family search and ancestry, German records. 7 things you need to know about German church records. German records, words, and scripts. And I can go to the next page. Let's see. Page 2. There we go. Tracking your German Russian ancestors. Beware of dates and vital records. So that's specifically about calendars. And then more immigration resources, mass migrations, German church records, professional genealogists, how you can get a professional genealogist, German records and family search, finding a German Protestant records. So you see all of these different talks that are available under the German presentations. There's the talk I gave right there, discovering online German archives. The other way of doing this search is to type in German in here, and now I get 70 results. So it's a little bit more than what I got in the research location. And so you can check to see if these are different talks or the same talks and maybe some other types of talks that are associated with it. You've got topics. So, if you're looking at DNA topics, you can just do that. There's 21 different topics: storytelling, technology, records, and so on. So if you're interested, if I want to see how many DNA talks there were, I can click on DNA and I can see there's 264 talks on DNA that were given. The content type, class sections, company, heritage, keynote speakers, product demos, series. If I want to see what product demos were done, I can go in there. And so 292 product demos were done. So Mac Family Tree. If you haven't seen Mac Family Tree, I'm going to play this. And let me know if you can hear the volume if I play this.
Welcome to the all-new Mac Family
Can you hear the volume?
and Mobile Family Tree 10.
Yeah.
For your
Okay.
iPad and iPhone. The perfect starting point for your research is the new interactive tree.
Does that work?
Browse your ancestors and
Yes.
easily add or
Okay.
edit data.
I want you to see
Mac
what this family
Tree's
tree looks like.
completely redesigned and vastly improved user interface allows you to navigate faster than ever. In addition, the new edit section makes working on your family tree even more pleasant. Use Mac Family Tree's eye-catching and easy-to-understand charts to discover and understand your family origins. There's a wide range of highly customizable diagrams at your disposal. See how your family has spread across the world and mark important events on Mac Family Tree's redeveloped virtual globe. Explore your heritage even further with the statistics maps in Mac Family Tree to visualize where and when important events took place. Experience your family history in 3 dimensions. Mac Family Tree's completely redesigned virtual tree offers you even faster navigation and better overview. And we didn't stop there. The new AR mode for iOS lets you see your family tree on the biggest screen in the world, your surroundings. Family Search. The world's largest genealogical archive is seamlessly integrated into Mac Family Tree and offers you free access to over 6 billion records. Download persons directly through the interactive tree, or even search for photos on Family Search to add them to your local tree. With all this data, how do you keep track of the details? Use smart filters to focus on specific groups of people.
Okay, so I'm going to hit pause on that. Now, did you see the 3D tree that they did? Now, the interesting thing is they have a augmented reality portion of that goes on your tablet or your phone. And so you hold it up, it shows you the room that you're in, and you can walk through the room with your tree. And so you can walk through the different levels of your tree, the different relationships and generations. As you move through the room, you're actually walking through the tree and seeing it on your mobile device. So it's a really cool demonstration of augmented reality and family history being combined. And they have a better demo of it in their on their expo hall location. But you can see all of the other all of the other apps and things that were introduced. Did anybody see last year MyHeritage did a animation that you could upload your photographs and they would animate the photographs so the face would move, the eyes would blink, the mouth would move, sort of thing. And you guys probably saw that last year. I'm going to show you what they did with this year. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to go into my Microsoft OneDrive, and you're going to see all my junk folders here. Oops, I didn't put it there. Hold on a second. Documents. Nope. Hold on. I've lost it. Oh, I see where it is. It's here. Okay. So they've taken that a step further. And let's see. I think I'm on this one. So I'm going to play this video for you.
Hi, I'm Raymond Bernard Westerheide. It's so nice to meet you. I would like to tell you a few stories about myself. Here's an interesting story about me. You may know that Prohibition ended in 1933, but did you know the story of bootleggers around Minster, Ohio? Let me tell you the part I played in that. During the 1930s, I was the store manager for the Minster Krogers. I used the store as a front for illegal alcohol manufacturing and distribution.
This is my great-grandfather, by the
I would
way.
drive the grocery truck to the C.D. Kenny Company wholesale grocery in Dayton to pick up large loads of sugar which were used in the making of alcohol. John W. Dye, the branch manager of the C.D. Kenny Company, would hide the sales to make it appear to be small sales to grocers. Whenever a truck would show up at the loading docks, a company truck would pull up alongside it to hide it from view while the sugar was loaded. I would then transport the sugar to a large still which was moved around Dark, Shelby and Mercer counties to avoid detection, and the alcohol was then transported to Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati for sale. The still was operated by me, Carl Noble and William Yenny of Covington, Alfred and Ralph Judy of Fort Recovery, and Clarence Green of Muncie, Indiana. Federal agents began cracking down on us in early 1936. The agents had been watching the operation at the C.D. Kenny Company from a house across the street and had captured Harold Stover, a young man who had been mixing the alcohol, who pleaded guilty and testified against Carl Noble and myself. I was arrested by liquor agents at the end of September 1936. Agents blocked Route 54 2 miles southeast of Urbana and stopped me when I tried to go around them in the ditch. I had 50 gallons of alcohol in the vehicle at the time, and police confiscated my automobile. I was again arrested in 1938 after a major raid where nearly 500 gallons of illicit liquor was seized. The raid was made at a cottage in St. Mary's Township near Villanova at 10:30 p.m. during the week. Agents confiscated a car along with 345 gallons of alcohol and 114 gallons of liquor. I was fined $750 plus costs and sentenced to 3 months in jail. Wilfred Mormon, my accomplice, was fined $100 and also sentenced to 3 months. The jail sentences were suspended when I immediately paid the fines, a total of $863.13 in cash. This ended a 2.5-year investigation. I went straight after this and opened a dry cleaner business.
So that is an example of MyHeritage's new tool called Live Story, where you can take any photograph you have, they will animate the image. And if you have a tree on MyHeritage, it'll go in and take the basic information from the tree. Here's my father, here's my mother, here are some photographs I have. This is when I was born. You know, that's the basic. But you can also go in and write your own story. So the story has to be about 2,500 words. I think it's 2,500 words, 2,500 characters, 2,500 characters or less. So it's about 2.5 minutes. What did you all think of that that little video?
Mind blowing. Oh boy. Did they write that or did you write it?
I wrote that one.
You wrote it, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Just a little side note, I was going through some photos of my parents and I came across this one photo and I was trying to identify people in the background. And in the process, I noticed that on my father's car, he had a plaque that said, "Repeal Prohibition."
Well, I love it. Is there any way that we can still send in our photographs and have that done?
Yeah, so if you have a subscription on MyHeritage, even the free subscription, I think you can do a limited number of these. And I'll show you where that is. So on MyHeritage, under photos, you can click on the photos and then you have that, whoops. Let's see. Okay, come on. So you have the colorize and the enhance and then the animate. These are the things they released last year. So you can take your black and white photos or your colors, your photos that have lost all their color, and you can enhance and colorize them. It'll get rid of the bends and the creases and things. And then the animate will take the screenshot and animate the photo like that. And then you have the live story. And you just go into the live story and it'll go through and it'll pick some of your photographs that you've already maybe animated. But it'll also give you the ability to upload photographs. So you can see I've got, some photographs that it says, hey, we can create a live story off of one of these photographs. And if I hit create live story, it'll go through and make the 2-minute video based on the information in your family tree.
Wow.
So, or I can upload a photo and I can write the story itself. I should have a couple stories in here and I'm just not seeing them right now.
All right, I'm going to try that.
Yeah, but if you go to the main stage and let's go back to back to MyHeritage's booth.
Are you muted?
You can go in and see new product releases. I think it's where it is.
All right. And I'll walk you through it.
Let's see if they have it on here. So there's the colorize your photos, records match genetics. So it must be in this new products releases video where they'll talk about the live story. So you can watch them and, see what they have to say about it.
Great.
let's see, you can also, go in and look for sponsors or exhibitors. You can pick out any one of these 91 different companies that sponsored stuff like National Geographic Society, MyHeritage. You have languages. There were 40 different languages. So you can go in and pick what language you want your talks to be in. We have the speakers, 1,222 speakers. Of course, being an M, I'm way down. There I am right there. So you can see all of my presentations and talks that are available. And then you have the year. So again, like I said, we have 2021 and 2022 talks available. So you can see many of last year's talks, 1,670 talks from last year. And whoops. And 2,052 presentations from this year. So according to that, you've got 3,600 different presentations that you can watch on all of these different topics. Or you can view the full catalog and, be overwhelmed because it'll give you all 3,700 different presentations. So. Okay. So any questions on what you can find at RootsTech? I hope everybody can, I muted a few people. So if you're trying to talk, you're not hearing yourself or not having comments back, then I probably muted you because there were some conversations going on in the backgrounds. But does this give you something to do for the next year?
It surely does. I had to go to the live sessions, but I was able to find one or two things to watch, but I couldn't figure out how to do all of this. So I appreciate you taking me through it, and I can go back and fool around a little bit.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. A lot of people had no idea how to find the sessions they were looking for. I can go in and I'm going to move this over. I went in, I can go to the innovators discussions, and see the different innovators and their talks in the menu items here. But you can also set up your playlist. So if you go through those lists and you see a video that you like, you can add it to your playlist, and so you can go back to it later so you don't have to search for it.
Oh.
The way to do that is I can go down here, and below the talk, it says add to playlist or remove from playlist. So I'll just go over and grab one of the other talks that they have. The main stage keynote speaker, let's just see. I can add that to my playlist.
Okay.
And now when I go to my playlist and I refresh it, it's now here at the front of my playlist.
Okay.
So I did watch several of these already, and I spoke at this one, so I really don't need it on my playlist. I just put it there so I can keep track of where it went. So these are some of the things that I have on my playlist right now. And there's more. So here, of course, you have James Beidler. This is session 1, 2, and 3 about German immigration from hometowns to final destination. So he did 3 different classes on this. Each one's 20 minutes long, so it ends up being about an hour long. But you can see, I've got a lot of things on my playlist, and then a lot of series, also multiple videos in these series that I plan on watching. And then when you're done watching it, I'm done watching it, I can click off. And now when I refresh, it's no longer on my list.
Where do you refresh? What are you talking about refresh?
So there, it's gone. I wanted to show you something else while we have you here. You've heard about what's going on with the 1950 census, right? Did you guys already have the talk with Thomas McKenty?
I didn't see it. It's going to be on Saturday, I think. But
Okay.
I didn't see it.
So they're going to, he's going to talk a little bit about what that the 1950 census is coming out April 1st, and it's already been the computers have already done the initial indexing for everything. And so the computers have already gone through and identified all of the names and basic information out of those. And so we're not going to have, like we did with the 1940 census, this big get together where everybody goes in and starts indexing it and trying to get it done. But they're not going to release those indexes until they've been proofread. And so as a state gets completed, let's say Florida, when all of the 1950 census is done, proofreading the computer handwriting recognition, then Florida will be released as searchable by surname. And the way we're going to do that is up here in Family Search, there's a tab called Get Involved. And when you click on it, you get my overview, my opportunities and indexing. I'm just going to go to overview. And you'll see these opportunities that are available. So, and you can download this as an app on your phone also. And what you're doing is you're reviewing the names. So you can download the app to your iPhone or your Google, Google account and Android, or you can just go back and index regular records and, do other things that are there. But the way this works is I can go in here to review names, and it's going to ask me, I'm going to get started, and I'm in the United States. I'm going English. I'm going to go, let's do some Florida. And I can put in my own name here or any name, and it's going to find records with that name to start with. If there are no records with that name, then it's going to just give you random. So I'm going to start with Florida. And this should be probate and wills records. And you see the computer says this is Carl. Is that correct? It says Carl. Yes, it's correct. So I hit match. The next name is, the computer says this is Shunt. Is that Shunt?
No.
What is it?
No. Schmidt. SCHMIDT.
Okay, so I've corrected it, and now I'm going to hit submit. And now it says that field has changed. Now this says 86. Well, 86 is not a name. I'm not sure why it's being classified. So I go in here and I say not a name. And I hit submit. So now it says Alexander S. Fisher. I don't know where Alexander S. Fisher is on this document, but I have no clue where that comes from. So there's Alexander right down here. It's incomplete. Directed. Well, directed's not a name either. So this one's not doing a very good job of this. It's not a name. Okay, here's a name. My daughter, Mildred. Mildred Landreth. Okay, match. Laudreth, Landreth. I don't know.
It looks like it.
I'm going to hit match on that one. Charles M. Anna. Headsure. That looks close enough. E.G. Nash. Anna Schutte. Ni. Hentscher. And now I'm going to submit that as a corrected. That one's correct. That one looks correct. So notice I'm up to 16. It's going to give you 20 names to do. E.G. Nash, and then Albert, Audreth, Albert. And now I'm done. So now I can tell it to give me more names, or I can say maybe later. And when I say maybe later, it now tells me that I have done 177 total records in the United States. So what they're doing is they're testing this on these wills and probate records. And then beginning in April, when the 1950 census comes out, you'll be able to do this on the 1950 census. And so you will be able to actually pick your town that you are interested in and do the records for that town, and the same thing. You'll be able to click in and just, did the computer correct that? Is that information right? So you'll see these videos in the RootsTech presentations, because they've been talking about it, in those presentations. They'll give you some demos there also. So, okay, so that's RootsTech and some of the new things that have been released at RootsTech, so you'll all be aware of it. If you want the Get Involved app, you can go to the webpage, or the Family Search page and get involved, or you can go to the iStore or the Google App Store and just type Get Involved, and you'll see the app there if you want to play with that while you're standing in line at the grocery store or wherever. So, any questions? I'm going to stop sharing.
Well, that gave me encouragement to go back and find some more things. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, take advantage of those. They're going to be there for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Even if it's only one lesson a week, that's
Something, yeah.
Yeah. Next week next month we will be talking about maps and gazetteers, specifically German. But who knows what I'll throw in that conversation.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Miles. Thank you.
No problem.
Taking the time.
I'm going to stop the